Hello, and welcome to the About Healing podcast, a show created for those on or awakening into their spiritual journeys, and who are ready, wanting, and learning how to heal themselves. I am your host, About Healing medium and certified spiritual healer, Sheree Buckman. It is my purpose to guide others to the path of self-healing and to inspire those on their spiritual journeys in finding their truths. Join me as I share my experience and unfiltered perspective in healing, as well as the incredible wisdom of the loving energy that guides us. Let's begin. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to our Season 2 finale of About Healing podcast. Good morning, Miss Copper.
Good morning. I feel like I should have like firework sounds or like celebration clapping because we made it.
You know you love my celebration firework sounds. Pew, 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 pew. They're little mini ones, okay? That is my big firework sound.
Good enough.
Pew. Yeah, you're right. It feels good to have this season coming to an ending, only because, again, we've had a lot of heavy stuff we talked about, and I'm feeling a little bit lighter, and I know it's going to, I guess, the break, and I'm getting ready to leave on my little mini vacay like today, so it's all exciting up in here.
We've done the hard work, and now it's time to take a breath.
Well, with all that being said, I am taking a short breath because I am creating something new and different. It's actually not different, but it is to go along with the season that we've had. We talked about awakenings and into our awakening, and you heard on our last episode that I am creating this workshop to help those who are going through their awakenings, who still have questions, who are still looking for more like a one-on-one answers. So these workshops will have live Q&As at the end of each topic and lesson that we talk about, where we can go over that intimately. I just wanted to bring up, and for any of those who maybe are on the fence or wondering if this workshop is for you, I came up with these questions because these are all these pieces that I thought when I was going through an awakening. So if you answer yes to 2 or more of these, then this workshop was and is created for you and what you're going through. Are you beginning to awaken into a new reality that is causing you to question everything you have been taught or told? Do you suffer from anxieties that you feel you should know how to get rid of, but cannot understand why it has been getting worse instead of better? Do you feel there is something bigger out there for you, searching for your life's purpose? Have you had paranormal or psychic experiences that you are seeking to understand about or more about? Do you hold on to personal truths for fear of speaking them because no one would understand or they would think you are out of your mind? Do your beliefs differ from your family or those around you, so much so that you are questioning what is real from what you feel deep down within yourself? Can you feel what others are thinking and feeling, and even knowing when people are lying? These are the type of things that happen or that we experience when we're sensitive and we're going through an awakening. So if you feel so drawn, please check out the workshop on my website, abouthealingmedium.com. That's where you can find the rest of the info and even the registration link. Just know that there is early registration discount up until June 13th. So take advantage of that if you choose to. So enough of marketing myself, Copper. Gosh.
My bad.
Yeah. She's like that. She's the pusher. She's my pusher. Get out of your way. You got to market yourself. Ew. But here I am doing it. Here I am. But enough about me. Honestly, let's get back to the podcast. Let's talk about this episode. Copper and I, this is truly partly Copper. Copper and I couldn't think of a better way. Yes, I gave you some points and a shout out there, Copper. We couldn't think of a better way to say goodbye with this season than to have an amazing guest on, someone you may be familiar with, someone whose energy is super bright and amazing and joyful and calming. Welcome back, Miss Katie Sass.
Hey!
Now we need the big
Yes.
cheer in the crowd. Yeah.
Right? I could hear it silently.
I did too. I know it was like almost a dud because when I really listened with my hearing ear, I'm like, well, this is weak. But inside my head, it's like, yeah, studio audience.
Oh my gosh, it's so good to be back here with you both. Like old times.
Yep, the OGs are back.
It was actually just like
right.
old times too.
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
I was like, oh.
It was the embracing the technology stuff and then our long stories and chats before we record. It's been amazing.
Yes. And Kapra's kind of referencing that we tried recording yesterday and just kept, on my part, hitting all of these blocks and, going with it, but then coming to the realization that yesterday was not the day to record. And I totally get that because I feel better today. I feel like my spirit feels better today.
Mm-hmm.
So, and my daughter's cat had gotten out yesterday morning and the cat's back and I don't have to worry. Not that I was worrying, but I don't have to, have that in my head at all. So, divine timing, baby.
It totally is. I think yesterday we would have forced it. Today is just so much better energy. We're laughing, we're happy. It's so different. We did our healing talks beforehand because that's what we do. We feel better and we let it out. So much we talk about and we torture Katie with. We'll keep that to ourselves. Well, Katie, I know we talked about this before. Do we want to go ahead and start this with a nice affirmation to kind of set the tone for today and for those listening to the podcast?
I am always going to say yes because I feel like affirmations it's just where it's at. It's like that talking prayer of what you want to call into your life and what energy you want to put out there. So I am always, always, always a fan of affirmations.
Amazing. So I wrote this affirmation. It went on my social media and I wrote this because this is truly what I needed that day. And then come to find out, as Katie and I had already linked this episode together and what we wanted to talk about from our own personal conversations, everything came together. It's like, holy cow, divine, all divinely led. So the affirmation is, today I release the worries of my struggles. Let go of fear and surrender control. I make space for beautiful light energy to bring forth and create all that I aspire. And so it shall be.
I love that. I feel like people should take that affirmation and say it every morning for a month, at least a week. It's so good. It's so good.
I have said it since yesterday when I wrote it. I have probably said this to myself 5 or 6 times in these 2 days. Yeah. I keep reminding myself and bringing myself back into that. So I'm in it too. Yeah. We're in it too. So Katie, oh my goodness. Here is amazing thing that I realized. I did realize this when I was creating the outline for this episode. Katie, it has been almost exactly 1 year. Exactly 1 year when you departed the podcast and you left us behind. Gosh. Oh.
Wow, the way you worded that was kind of brutal.
I'm totally kidding. No, when you spread your wings to fly and do what you felt drawn to, and I couldn't be more proud, but I think we would all love to hear, what have you been doing? What are these wings taking you to do?
Wow, I know. I just think about where I was last year at this time in this podcast and how much doing the podcast with you guys has just really helped me at a really heavy time and some things that I was going through. And I'm so grateful for where I am now in the shifts. I will tell you where I'm at right now. And it's a lot better place. It's a lot lighter place because I've really just been practicing the letting go and practicing being in the knowing that everything is going to be fine, that everything I want to create is going to happen in the most divine timing. So I just have been, like everybody else, getting those chances to just keep getting out of the way, getting out of the way, and yeah, and allowing what needs to come through. And a big part was with my kids and what they were experiencing at the time, and really understanding in a deeper way of like how much I was taking on their energy. It's just layers, you know? It's like, I think that I don't take on their energy. You know, I know sometimes I do, but I'm getting so much better at it. And I am. And but then I get shown a whole other layer of like, wow, okay, I am really taking it on, and not just them, but others. But Yeah, and I know you and I were kind of talking about this the other day about a tool. Well, you were sharing a tool with me that you had learned from someone, and it was so similar to something I've been practicing myself. Do you want to share that? Because it's so good.
Which one? I don't need to like sound like that. Like
No, it was. Well, I know my version was when you. Okay, like an example. Let's say say my kids get home from school, and I just catch a look on one of their faces where they look tired or exhausted, and then I start to, imagine how they're feeling. And I'm getting better at this. I don't do this too much anymore because I use this tool, and when it does come up, it's just kind of like, okay, thank you for showing me where they're at and sending that energy to the light. Because I remember how it feels to be at the end of the school year too. So we're talking about recently coming home, no AC in the school, and it's like 90 degrees, and just imagining how would I feel and remembering how I would feel in elementary school and how miserable it was with the teachers trying to use a fan that never worked, and yeah. So, anyways, just. Not going into how you think they're feeling, or because it's not my business.
that's right. So we were talking about our sensitivities. So we had this conversation, and then we found that it was important to share it because, as we are empaths, and as empaths, we also draw to us other empaths and sensitive people, and how we get kind of surrounded by that. And when we are in a place for ourselves, because as an empath, we feel, we know, and we get really worried about people, we can feel their emotions. And then when we get to that place of understanding that the other people around us are going through things, and then we have this stress, and then we have this worry about them, and we're trying to help them because, again, we are natural healers. As an empath, we want to help, and we want to change things so everybody feels better, and so that we feel better too. So it's important that to understand and to recognize the power of your own energy, that when we are in that stress state, or we're in a worry state, these other sensitive people around us are feeling that, and it's feeding them that extra on top of what they're already going in. And there's something else that happens, that when they are feeding on that heavier energy, they're already feeling heavy, they're feeding this other heavier energy, that something happens, an automatic kick in where we go in defensive mode. And it's, for an example, let's say it's your children. It's like, Mom, I don't need to hear it. Mom, like, even though you're trying to be helpful and we are trying to make things better for them, they are feeling all of that other icky, yucky energy coming off of us. And it's like, that's enough, stay out of my business. And then we get in that really big, it can be your spouse, it can be a friend, it can be a coworker, whatever it is. But when they are sensitive, they're feeding off of yours. So the tip was, in order as a healer, to help others, is always to be aware and help yourself. When you can remind yourself, and you can see someone else's, because this was a little tip that I had learned. I'm in my own little workshop, and I'm learning from other beautiful light beings too. And it was a fantastic reminder that it is when you see someone else going through this, it's again recognizing that energy and saying, thank you for showing me. This is in your head, like you're not saying it to the person. Just for those who need that clarification, you're thinking it. It's thank you for showing me this energy. I'm going to send it to light. Because again, that's love. That's love energy. We're sending it there. And then we need to focus our energy on love, bringing ourselves into the higher vibrational feelings when we let go of that worry and our stress. And we bring that focus on ourselves and on everything else that we can control, that inner peace, just being in that place of love. I love this person. I love this family, or I love where I'm at. Now, all of a sudden, you are feeding those sensitive people the positive stuff. And then all of a sudden, instead of them, again, layering the heavy stuff and the thick stuff and going defensive mode, it's softening them naturally. Now you're feeding them that positive stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, then, too, if you're not taking on their stuff and their worries and that energy's going back and forth, you're able to get yourself, well, the thing to do in that space to break it up is to just breathe into your heart. Like, take some steps back. I just, like, one of my quick things is to take the 3 breaths into your heart to get you back into that grounding space so you can let that go. And then, you don't always have to do this, but if you find yourself in a situation where it's a little bit heavier and you find yourself worrying about the situation, it's just your opportunity to get to create what you want the situation to be. And I just try to focus on seeing that person. And it's pretty much what you said, in the light, in love, and happy and joyful and having figured it out, and to stop um, those little paths that you go on of worry or fear or what if this happens, what if that happens, and just catch yourself. It's just about catching yourself quickly and like, nope, okay, letting it go, sending it to the light. Yeah, yeah. But that's been a big one for me, a really big one. And I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful where I'm at. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm still using it, and I'm still, and will always be, I'm sure, learning and having these experiences to go through, which, you know, helps me to help others and how to get through it. So,
That is so true. And that was a huge thought. It's funny. It was in my head this morning when I woke up, and it was this heavy thought of wanting to put it somewhere in the podcast. I thought of maybe creating an episode, but this seems a perfect time to even say it, to recognize that your own struggles and everything that we've been going through, that the more that we heal or we're getting past it, that is a strength, because it's when we've experienced these heavy things and we heal from it, we are able to talk about it and we're able to guide others through it. So all of you beautiful souls out there who have had tons of circumstances in your life that are hard or unfair, that are painful, and you have these struggles, just know that you are that beautiful light that is that has chose. You don't remember it now. You may not remember it now, but your soul chose to go through these experiences to heal yourself so you can help other people on their journeys too. You're all healers. You all
yeah,
are.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, no, we hear it all the time, but just be aware of what you're focusing your energy on. Even sometimes I'll be, moving through something, experience something, and I'm like, I know I'm in lack. I know I'm in limitation. I know this is, just annoyance and all of these feelings. Again, uh, taking that breath, going back into, coming back into your heart, grounding and getting yourself into that space. And rephrasing what you want and watching too the words that you use to communicate, watching what stories you're telling when you're talking to your friends or what you're retelling yourself in your mind. And, something I know you and I were talking about, I think it's a good place to bring it up, is just how, you know, well, language is so important, right? Something that I've kind of been learning here lately, and I feel like you brought it up too at the same similar times, is maybe instead of saying like show me or asking, and tell me if you want to phrase this differently, but and I'm not sure if I'm phrasing this correctly, but instead of asking or saying like show me this, show me that, which is what I used to say all the time, is rewording it to embodying that statement. Like, I now see the truth in what I need to see, or, I now have the guidance that I need to move through this easily. It's just that shift of energy of like calling it in from within inside of you instead of reaching out like something else showed me. I mean, that's okay too. It's just a shift. It's something to play with. What do you think about that?
No, I love it. Yes, to all of that. And it's important. So to break this down, for those of you who are looking to manifest, and when we are, like when Katie was speaking about, instead of asking or saying, show me, it's about rewording and speaking with your guides, speaking with the universe, speaking with angels, whoever it is that you speak with, whether it be God or Buddha, whoever you create with. Just know that these are beautiful beings that know you inside and out, and that by commanding or telling what you want, that is not a disrespect, because they know you're in gratitude. But when you are in the energy of, please show me what I'm supposed to do, please show me where I'm supposed to be, please, when you're in this frame of mind and you're asking for guidance, but it's just, please show me this, please show me that. And in your mind, you gave no clarification of how you wanted to receive it, what it really is that you want. This is a really open-ended question. And so they're probably bringing you the answers to this, but you are not seeing it or grasping it because it's such a big open-ended question, essentially. So it is changing your wording, and it is like a change of perspective too. It's because when we do that, sometimes we are asking that in a place of lack, is why we are putting those questions out there. It is bringing more confidence into the wording and asking our guides and asking those beautiful light beings and those co-creators of ours and saying, I want this, or I want to feel this. Whatever it is you were trying to create. So let me give you an example. Let's say for me, let's talk about the podcast, because that's always a great example for me. I want people who need to hear the podcast to be able to find it. And then I ask my guides to please help me do this. Please help put this out there for those who need to hear it, for those who need that help. And just let me know what I need to do when or if there's something to do. And some of this is a great reminder that came from, again, that workshop that I'm doing, and she's fantastic. And it was a reminder, and this is her quote, and I cannot claim it as mine, saying, and they'll probably tell you to go take a nap, and they'll probably tell you to go take a walk, and let them do their thing. And this is where I've been going through my control thing. I try to control too much. I'm a huge planner. Everybody knows about my lists. It's my planning. This is just a part of me. It's a big lesson I'm working through, and I'm trying to let go of that and just allowing the energy. So when we step back and we ask or command or tell these beautiful beings what we want, they know it's with love. You're not being disrespectful. They know. Tell them what you want. They cannot interact or do anything for you unless you've asked or told them. Like, again, free will. They're not just going to go in there and do it for you. You have to be clear and then step back. And that's my hard task that I'm learning to do, is just step back and stop.
Yeah, and when you ask so we're kind of two different things, right? We're talking about asking and then rephrasing. Okay, so I guess I'm just a little confused on this, because first we were talking about speaking it and embodying it and not
Right.
asking, but then the conversation kind of switched to asking.
That's just
So
funny.
let's clarify on that, right?
No, I love this because this came up too. And this is interesting. In this whole workshop, it was a big clarification. This part Correct. We do want to embody it, but it's about the wording and the details we put on it. Whether you choose to ask, whether you choose to tell, whether you choose to command, that's not the important piece. But it is putting more clarity and more energy and emphasis into it, rather than saying, please show me what I'm supposed to do next. Again,
So being in
very
your power.
open. Yes, it is collecting your power. And if you can still ask it as a question, but it's a more powerful question and getting a little bit more detail. I would like guidance into what my next steps are in my professional career. Do I stay in this job or do I find a new one that's a little bit more clear? Or do I stay here in this town, in this home? You know, if you're thinking about moving or relocating, it is getting more clear about your questions and your choices. So that is when you're wondering what to do over the other. But if there's something very specific you want, telling your guide, so I'm a please person. I'm not a huge commander. So even with my guides, I'm like, I need you to create this for me, please. I always put a question because that's just where I'm at. I feel weird demanding things, but that's just me. That's my personality. But if you're good at demanding, you put that in there. That's you and your thing. But it is just being more clear and putting your energy into it. Yes, Katie. Or it's the I am statements. We talked about that too. Rather than, I want this. It's another way of manifesting is I am powerful. I am safe. I release my control because I know that the people around me in the universe are picking up what I don't get, are taking care of all the little things that I will no longer worry or stress about. So for me, that's something I would use as an I am that I'm going through. And knowing that they're going to create that for me. That's an energetic piece that I'm creating. Does that make more sense, or did I leave it more confusing?
No, I don't know. And I think that there's no right or wrong answer. For me, my shift has been, instead of saying like, guide, show me, I just rephrase it like, I now know, I now
Mm-hmm.
see that
Mm-hmm.
kind of energy. And
Mm-hmm.
and just knowing that it's going to come. But I don't think there's I don't know. I think they're both good. Whatever resonates with you. The point being is the energy that you put behind it, which is what you're basically saying. So if
Exactly.
you are going to ask, make sure that you are in a grounded space, not please, even sometimes with please, it's like, what do you think about the word please even having a little bit of like unworthiness to it? A little unworthiness energy. If you're like, please give it to me, like you're worthy of it. And but we're at, no matter where you're at, if that feels better. I know I'm like a manners lady, so I get it. I get it. But yeah, I think no matter where you're coming from and what you're asking for or embodying, it's about the energy that's behind
Yes.
it. Yeah.
No, and thank you for bringing that up, because you are using a different phrase now. Like you said, you're putting yourself in that situation of receiving it. And that is a fantastic way of manifesting too. And that is what I have learned and learning, that it doesn't matter on the phrases you put in. It's the energy. It is not begging. It is not in a pleading sense. It's a knowing that you're worthy, asking or telling them what you want in more detail, and then stand back and let the energy do its thing. Because this has been I know there's others out there. I have to feel there's others out there, which is why I'm saying that why I want to share it on here. That again, I try to control too much and it blocks the energy. And I'm trying to let go more and let this light energy do its thing, because the more I try to put my head and my mental capacity into it, remember, our ego and that mental capacity is heavy and dense, and it's harder for the light energy and the beautiful, loving energy to come in and create with you and for you. And so it's me letting go of the reins and feeling safe, saying, okay. And for anybody else out there who is in that same boat with me, we can do this together, is reminding yourself and using the affirmation I said earlier, or however you need to we're safe. We are safe and we can allow it. And then we let the changes come.
And this is what being in your power is all about.
Right. And speaking of change, Katie, what changes have been going on in your beautiful healing work?
Well, I have had a big change for myself. I actually have moved to a new location, and it's good. It's good. It's been a process. I mean, it's something that I felt coming a long time ago. I don't know if I want to even say I felt coming. It's just I felt that energy that I knew that a shift would eventually come. Just like maybe we all know, right, that we're not going to be in that position forever. But just following the light and the guidance and knowing that spirit is going to guide you in the direction that you need to go in. And I was feeling it just started becoming louder and louder that it was time for me to leave the space that I was at. Not that there was anything wrong with it. I just felt like I was being guided in a different direction. And there was even a point where I said, okay, if this is what I'm supposed to do, spirit, make it obvious. And then like little things kept happening, like shifting of my hours, and not that it was bad. I just I'm like, okay, things are becoming pretty obvious that it's time to move forward, and it's a little bit further of a drive for me, and that was just like one of the few things that I don't know if you want to say bothered me or whatever, but even one day I was driving out there before I made the change, and I was like, okay, if this drive is a little lengthy. Is this really the direction I'm supposed to be moving in? And I just felt this message of, we got you. Like, just trust us. We got you. So, and even day one, there was bumps and, things to figure out. And I'm still figuring out a few things, just to be honest with you. I've been there about a month. But I just keep letting go. And even, okay, like the first day I was in my new space, there was just, I don't know, it was loud. I knew right away the space was too small, like all these things. And I even like kind of, even though I knew it was all going to work out, I was kind of, I don't want to say flipping out, but I was worrying. I'm like, oh, I don't want to seem high maintenance. I want to be liked and all of these, but I'm like, no, Katie, it's, I have a right to certain things for the work that I do. And, the next day it was fine. I just, came from a loving place, communicated what I needed to communicate, and things shifted. And I moved to a new space in that same building, and one that works out even better, and with a window. And yeah, so it's just like every day is just letting go, right? Just let go. And something that I keep saying too um, is I love my space and my space loves me. And that's something that I like to just play around with, whether it's like, I love my family and my family loves me. And I might have even brought that up on an old podcast. But yeah, it's just a little tool that I like to keep using. I love this and this loves me. And knowing that I'm drawing that in, I'll get to that place. And I do love my space, but it's just, you know, nothing is maybe perfect, or I don't know, allowing it to just shift without me trying to control it. Like, just give it time, and like, be patient, divine timing, and don't judge it. And yeah, and always remember there's bigger things going on, right? As to why things are happening for us. So that's been my experience. Oops. And I like my transition. It feels good. It feels right.
Right.
Feels right.
I mean, for you, and if you don't mind me sharing, this was an opportunity for Katie. She wasn't sure she ever wanted to leave her old place. She had so much love for it, but she was approached for this new one. They wanted her. It was something beautiful. And as she said, there was all these massive shifts and everything happening. It was a long process. And I have to say, and it was beautiful, especially with all those pointers you gave for transitions, Katie, and I want to give you one, is when you said on your first day the space wasn't working for you and you said something. You stood up and you said it in a loving way. And it was no problem. I got you. And you were put in another space that was even better because you said something and voiced it. And I want to give you props for that because I know that's a hard thing for some people to do, especially as sensitives, that we just kind of leave things alone rather than rocking the boat or wanting to cause an issue. But you did, and it was totally recepted beautifully, and you got an even better space. So,
Thank you.
yay.
Yeah, that was definitely a moment of just reflecting on growth because I know
Mm-hmm.
old Katie definitely had a hard time standing up for what I wanted. So good job, me. Well, also, I didn't really have a choice. I mean, I did have a choice, right? We do always have choices, but yeah, yeah, it was, yeah,
But you stepped out of fear and you did something for you, and I
I
love
did.
that.
I
Yes,
did.
you did.
And to add, something that might be beneficial is that I gave it a little time too. And this is something that I've noticed I've been getting better at is not reacting as quickly. Like I don't have to act upon it immediately that day. Like give it a day, get some sleep, let some time go by because it allowed me to get out of that space that I had been in. And, so that when I did have that conversation, it wasn't a big deal as it would have been the day before. And I've really been practicing that a lot and like just chill, just give it some time, feel into how it's going to feel tomorrow or, and then also just creating what I want, visualizing, feeling, and visualizing what I want, and just allowing that in and allowing those shifts to take place when they need to take place. And yeah, that's been super helpful for me too.
What beautiful advice. And I love it. And Katie, I am so happy for you that
Thank
you,
you.
again, you felt into it and you left the podcast when you needed to, and you focused on you and so much growth and transitions in your beautiful healing work as well as personal life. Again, like you said, looking back at 1 year ago to now and the changes,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
a lot. That's a lot of changes.
it is. It is. And I'm just gonna leave it with saying this affirmation that I got the other day, and it's so simple. It's just like, I live in a constant state of gratitude. It's a new one. I mean, not a new one, right? We're always practicing, right? Because I don't know, like throughout life, you just keep getting that reminder of gratitude. It's, so basic, so simple, but I just need to be reminded.
That's right. So, Katie, please tell everybody where can they find you or look more into your beautiful healing work?
Well, I have a new updated website. It is, and I know Sheree will post it. It is www. Do we need to still say that? Dot healingbyKatieSass.com. And I do sessions in person and over the phone or Zoom, whatever you feel called to.
Yes, she does. And it's amazing.
Thank you.
It is
You're
amazing. And I love,
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey, as added bonus to everybody, this beautiful little bonus, Katie is going to be guiding us in a little meditation. It will be at the end of this episode after I give my farewells. We are going to post and separate this special meditation into another episode for easy access for whenever you feel you want it to hear Katie's soothing voice and take you to this great place of relaxation and love. But before you get to hear that, I am going to say my goodbye because I love you all so much. This is it for season 2. We will see you in July with an all new season with amazing new guests and experts and new topics to discuss. It's going to be a little different. It's going to be very exciting. I have some experts coming in. So, yay, stay tuned. More than anything, I really want to thank you all for your support and for listening in and for sharing and spreading your light. Because if you were drawn to this podcast, you have a bright light too, and you are a healer in your own way. and you were just blooming, and we are all connected. Just don't forget that, because we are all in this journey in this life together. And please always know, and until next time, you beautiful souls, be kind to yourself.
Okay, I just want everyone to start by taking 3 deep breaths into your heart, remembering that this always brings you back to center, no matter what's going on in your life. So, and if you need to take an extra breath, go for it. I want you to take yourself into a beautiful walk in the forest. With each footstep on the earth, see that light, that earthly light illuminate each step. Feeling into the moment, all the beautiful scenery around you. And as you walk, you come across a beautiful body of water. I want you to just put your toes in the water. Just start walking in and diving into that water and swimming underneath the water surface, swimming and allowing any worries, any stresses to just run off your fingertips. Letting those with the big worries, allowing that to be strong pushes under the water with your hands, and coming up to the water surface. Visualize yourself floating there. Maybe you see little entanglements of seaweed tickling your feet, or maybe that seaweed is wrapping around your feet or your body, your heart, and just allowing that seaweed to fall to the bottom of the water. I just saw some beautiful mermaids grabbing that seaweed and taking it away for you. And as you lay floating in the water, feeling that sun shining down on you, fueling your cells, bringing you beautiful healing. Feeling that feeling of freedom, peace. And here comes some beautiful drops of light, beautiful red drops falling into your root chakra and bringing balance to your root, clearing. And now here comes some orange drops, the color of the sunrise, falling into your sacral, allowing it to expand out, and seeing beautiful plant life growing from that sacral, boosting your creativity. As we move up to the solar plexus, allowing that energy to come down through the heavens light into your solar plexus in that color of the sun, giving that nod of loving appreciation to your inner child. Feeling the energy of being proud of them for how far they've come, how much you love them, no matter where they're at in life. As we see beautiful pink light droplets of pink light Seeing glitter in those droplets. Just fall into your heart. Expanding that heart chakra out. Feeling the love for yourself. The love for your life. And that loving knowing that everything's going to be okay. And that you're always being guided. And that you're never alone. Spirit's always got you. All you got to do is let go. And it's safe to let go. It's safe to let go, and it's safe to trust your heart to guide you. Your heart being your intuition. And as that beautiful pink heart light energy fills up your heart, bring it up to your throat now, expanding that light out into your aura, the aura of your throat, knowing that there's always loving energy behind the words that you speak, and even loving energy in the words that you don't speak. Honoring your body, all it does for you. As we bring your attention to your third eye, that beautiful indigo color, see that eye. Maybe you want to do an eyelash curler on that third eye. Play with it. You're meant to have fun. Be creative with what your third eye looks like. And expand that light out of the third eye and expand that light inward. Clearing, balancing. As we move up to the crown. And expand that crown open. Knowing that you always have that ability to open up that light at your crown. Reminding yourself that you are always connected. And that you can let go and let the answers flow in. And let's bring that energy out to your aura again. Allowing energy to clear any debris. Notice how your body's filled with that light. And expand it out. Expand it out. And you can even expand that energy out to your homes, clearing your homes. Clearing any spaces that you find yourself often. Clearing the energy of your town, the city, state, country, the oceans, the trees, the world, and beyond. And so it is, and so it is.